operation. So once we complete this one, we can directly jump into the SAP transport administration part, note implementation, plugins, and SAP patching. So these main topics, we can go for that one. Okay. So SAP work process architecture, SAP work process architecture here. So SAP work process architecture means actually SAP architecture includes three layers that we everybody knows, right? SAP architecture includes, so we have the three layers. What is that? First one is the
Presentation layer,
GUI.
yeah presentation layer
application,
called the SAP GUI, and then
application layer,
application
and
layer.
database layer.
Application layer, and the third one is called the database layer here. So they are the three layers are there. Three layers are there in the SAP architecture, right? So each layer there is a dedicated responsibilities to handle it here. So each of these programs operate its own, right? Each of layer has operate own, and also it contains the all are in the one mission or different missions also we can install it here. So here the main are the application and the database layers are the main important thing here. Application layer will help to perform the means it is the user interface which will be interact with the users. Application layers are the interact with the users here. So database layer, which will store the data which is coming from the applications here, right? So presentation layer, where it is the graphical screen, it provide the graphical screens to the user. User enter the data on the screen. It shows the processed data to the user. User enter into the here. Then all the processing the data, everything will happen in the in the application layer. Read, write, all those things it will happen in the back end. That is called the middle layer is called the application layer. So we have the database layer. It will stores and provides the data here. It will stores and provide the data here. So if I give some information about the presentation layer is responsible for user experience. Also for making sure that SAP system is easily accessible, interact with the presentation layer. We will log into the SAP system using the presentation layer. So all those things here. So this layer, presentation layer, does not hold any data or anything here. So it will that is being stored SAP. So that is the one here, right? So mainly the data storage will happen in the database layer itself only here. Even application data also will store into the database itself only here. So here the DB layer is the very crucial part. Database layer is a very crucial part here. So okay. So here coming to the architecture and the components. So we discussed about the architecture related components. We have the ASCS and application server. In the ASCS, we have the message server and queue server. In the application server, we have the remaining work process are there. So those things we discussed. Dispatcher, what is the use of the dispatcher, gateway, each and every dialogue work process we discussed, right? So that is what we discussed. Then how does the SAP process work here? How does the SAP process work, right? So normally this one we are normally every time we are drafting the diagram here. So let me draft the diagram once again to better understanding purpose here, right? So here this is the your SAP GUI, which means your presentation layer. So this is connecting to this layer is connecting to the SAP, what I can say, dispatcher, above dispatcher here. So this dispatcher will communicate to the SAP work process here, SAP work process here. So this work process will communicate with there is a buffers inside of the work process that is called the buffers. Here I can write it as a buffers here, right? Buffers. buffers, role area, shared memory, all are the buffers here, right? So then this is the work process here. This is the work process here. So then below that we have the, let me write down little bit lower. Okay, this is the GUI. So this is the application server. Okay. So this is the SAP. So this is the database. Okay. Let's write small DB. GUI here. Okay. This is the application layer, SAP layer. Okay. Now the dispatcher. Okay. Dispatcher. Then these are the work process, dispatcher and work process here. Dispatcher and work process here. So here each work process will have the, will share the common buffers. I mean to say application buffers and application buffers. This is something called the application buffer. So let's take the buffers here, application buffers. So buffers means we in the ST02 we have the buffers. Can you someone tell me what are the buffers we have here, right? Buffers, right? So then program buffer, CUI buffer, calendar buffer, right? Program buffer, CUI buffer. So these are the buffers. Suppose example, these are the buffers here. So this role are the buffers. These all are the buffers here. Okay. These all are the buffers here. So I can make it as a buffers. Okay. This is what are the buffers here. Okay. Buffers. So then we have along this one, we have here user context. User context, all the user details are available here. That is called the user context here. User context. Okay, user context. User ID, passwords are available here. So this entire thing is called the shared memory. So this entire in the shared memory itself, shared memory. Okay, shared memory here. The shared memory. Okay. So here this is the user context. So here entire this box is split into the two box. One is the buffers, application buffers, and the user context here, user context role area. So that is called the user context here, role area. This is called the role area. Total called the role area. Okay, application buffers and role area. This is called, this is the buffers and this is the role area here. This entire concept is called the role area here. So okay. So here this is the work process here. Inside of the work process, each and every work process here, there is a task handler. In the inside of the work process, inside of the work process architecture, so we have the task handler, task handler. Okay, task handler. So inside of the work process we have the task handler, and here we have the, so we have the screen processor, then ABAP interpreter, then database interpreter here. So they are the three parts, three are there here, right? So three are divided. So right, the ABAP interpreter, screen processor, these all are the internal memory here. This is the dispatcher. This is the dispatcher here. So this is the work process. This is the somewhat like dialog work process here, right? Dialog work process inside we have the dialog work process inside we have the screen interpret, screen processor, ABAP interpreter, and the dialog interpreter we have here, right? DB only here, right? So normally now how the request works here. Now how the request works. That is the our main question here, right? Let me take it to red color. Okay. So now, whenever in the Logon pad, whenever you click on the SAP screen, whenever you click on the Logon pad, whenever you click it, it will take the dispatcher will take it out, right? Dispatcher will take it out. Dispatcher listens to the user action, such as he is clicking the links, forms, forward, corresponding actions, whatever he is doing. So dispatcher will take the request here. So first of all, what will happen whenever SAP log first step, whenever you log into the SAP system here, dispatcher will take care of the your request here. Then, so normally that how the logon process will works means SAP logon process first step, it will ask the authorization process here. This is the first step. Authorization means user ID and password. So simple processes which is involved here, you have to enter the user ID and password. After this, you will be asked to, so password you have to provide it. Then after that, successfully entering into the password, you will be sent a confirmation message. So then after successfully added, you will get the successful message saying that you have successfully logged in. From here, you will able to open the SAP menu, right? Although the process is a it's a simple process, but you may have to wait until you will get the response from SAP successfully you logged into the system. Here, work process will take care of the your request and everything here. Work process will take care of the all your request and everything here, right? So here, what exactly happens here? What exactly happens here? So once you successfully log in, once you successfully log in, dispatcher will assign your request to the available work process here. Available work process here, right? Dispatcher will assign the request to the available work process here. So this work process first check in the role area user context, whether you are the valid person or not, right? First, it will assign the First of all, it will assign the your request. First of all, it will assign the request here. First of all, so you will be logged into the system. Whenever you got the SAP screen, then it will ask the user ID password. Whenever you enter the user ID password, then it will go to the user context here. Then user context means here user ID password will be available here. It will go to the here. Then it will check the whether this user is correctly entered a password or not. Then it will give the confirmation. It will give the confirmation to the user is able to log in. So then once you got the screen here, then here what it will do here. So once the process is assigned to the here, right? So start the then once the process is assigned here, then what will happen? So then task handler will take care of the your task here. Once the user ID password is verified, then task handler will take care of the your request. Then it will assign, then whatever you entered, whatever the transaction you entered in the SAP screen, whatever the transaction you entered. Suppose when you click on this button, immediately you will get the SAP screen, which means dispatcher taking the request will assign it to the available work process here. If you don't have the available dialog work process, you won't get this screen, right? You will get the connecting screen, you will get it out. So work process are there. That's why you got this screen here. That's why you got this screen here. Okay. You got this screen here. You are able to log in now. Once you log in here, then user context role in user context is completed here. Then so immediately the task handler in the work process, there is a task handler. It will assign the task to your request. So then it will, so whatever the thing you are entering here, suppose like whatever the thing you are entering here, suppose like something here, then immediately the screen interpreter will take care of your request. Then it will interrupt the screens. It will assign to the ABAP interpreter. ABAP interpreter will convert into the ABAP language, then will hand over the things to the database interpreter. Will database interpreter here will ABAP the things and it will enter into the database interpreter here. So then immediately it will check in the buffers. if the already same data is available in the buffers or not, it will check it out, right? In case it will check in the buffers. Why? Because these are the buffers here. It buffers, it will store the frequently accessed data. The frequently accessed data will be stored into the buffers here. Frequently accessed data will be stored into the buffers here. So here it will buffers, it will check it out whether you are entering the data is already there or not, right? You are entering the data already there or not, it will check. Suppose if you anything, any transaction code, if you enter it, only we know data is coming or not, right? Only we know data is coming or not. Okay, data is coming, so we are good. Something like that, you will be fine. But what exactly happening in the back end here, right? So here, whenever you enter the transaction, screen interpreter, so it will interrupt your screens. It will interrupt your screens, then it will assign to the ABAP interpreter. ABAP interpreter will convert into the ABAP language, will assign to the database interpreter. So database interpreter, so will check, will convert into the database language, then we'll check in the buffers if the same data already there in the buffers or not. If not, then it will go to the database level. So it will check database level, it will check, it will pull the database from data level. Then while giving the copy to the here, one copy will place it here, then it will give the response back to the user. Similar order way, it will give the response back to the users here. It will give the response back to be users here. So so that is the conclusion is here. So here work process will take care of the your end-to-end responsibility here. Work process will take care of the your end-to-end responsibility. End-to-end responsibility means starting of your login to ending of your login, you are getting the response. One work process will take care of the responsibility here. One work process will take care of the your responsibility here, right? So that is the so thing here. So when you ever and execute the transaction code, it will go to the respective screen. It will check in the buffers. If that thing is available in the buffers or not, it will check it out. So if it is not available in the buffers, so then it will go to the database level. It will pull the data from the database level. The next time it will place the data here, and it will give the response back to the users here. That will happen. But we know only SAP screen. We know only SAP screen here. We know only SAP screen here. So only we are getting the response or not. Whenever you enter the transaction code in the GUI, you are getting the response or not. But backend, what exactly happening, all those things, right? So this is the what will happen here. This is what will happen in the systems here in the backend. So see here, whatever the data I am pulling, it is grabbing the data from the, so it is grabbing the data. It is grabbing the data from the system here, right? It is grabbing the data from the system here. So how you are getting the data, how frequently we are getting data, what is the response? So then all those things will be here. All those things will be here in the, so here we will get the details here, how we are getting the data, how we are getting the data from the database level, screens, application, everything means because of back end, all this will work. Because of the back end, all the components will work here. Because of all components will work here, right? GUI, dispatcher, work process, then so it will check the buffers, then here. So when it is going to task handler to here, that is called the roll in area. So roll in, then after that roll in user context, then roll out user context here. So like that, the data will come to inside of the system, then roll in and roll out, roll in and roll out here, roll in and the roll out will happen in the systems here, right? So this is what will happen in the work process in the back end here. This is what will happen in the work process here. So we have the three types of layers. So three type layer: presentation, application, and database layer here. Application and database layer here. So here the databases, the data here dispatcher will maintain the all the, if the work process is not available, the dispatcher will maintain the all the request into the queue. Queue means order, FIFO order, it will maintain all the requests into the order. Then as soon as the work process is available, it will take care of your user request and everything here, right? Here, work process is the main here. Dialog work process is the main here. So whenever user clicks on the SAP system GUI, the user request is forwarded to the dispatcher. This is the first step. The first step, whenever you click the SAP GUI, it will be forwarded to the dispatcher here. Dispatcher request is stored into the queue first. Queue in order, it will store it, then first in, first out rule. Then it will assign to the free dialog work process. It will be assigned to the free dialog. Like that, we have the number of dialog work process, right? It will assign to the available free dialog work process here. Then, as per your request, normally the particular work process is assigned to the user. The particular work process is assigned to the user here, right? So whenever you log into the system, immediately there is a particular SAP. Whenever you log into the SAP system, there is a dedicated work process is assigned to the your user, right? Whenever you click this button, it will forward to the dispatcher. Then once the authentication is done, the available work process is taking care of your request, then it will take care of the next proceedings here, right? So a user, as per user request, a dedicated work process is assigned to the user here, every user. For example, whenever user log into the SAP system, then dialog work process is the main work process here. It will work it. If the user runs the report in the background, then after that, background work process will take care of the request here, right? So then update work process assigning, that we know, we discussed it, right? Then the user request is assigned to the dialog work process. Then authorization, user authorizations, user current settings are rolled into the rolled means rolled. So which means once assigned to the work process, user settings, user storing the data, user passwords, everything will check into the role in user context. That is called the role in user context here. That is called the role into work process. That is called the shared memory. In the shared memory, user related details, all those things will check it out here, right? Once the dialog step is executed, then user data is stored roll out from. Means once it is executed, then while going, the data will be also stored here, so that next time whenever accessing, same data is available, quickly finish the responsibility, will give the data to, will give the response to the user here, request and response. So the shared memory will be cleaned up. Other users can save the same data in the shared memory will be cleaned up here, right? So then work process. So the dispatcher will maintain the work process into queue order here. Then will assign to the available work process. A work process will assign the, as per your request, whatever the request you are trying to access, it will assign the task to your request till end of. Then it will check into the buffers. Okay, buffers, we don't have any data, previous data. Then it will go to the database level. It will database level, definitely there is a data. It will pull the data from the database level. It will give the response back to the users here. It will give the response back to the users here. That is what will happen in the systems here, right? That is what will happen in the systems here, right? So that is the, one thing here, right? Shared memory behavior. So this is the one thing about the architecture, right? SAP architecture here, right? SAP architecture here. So that is the one thing here. Any questions here? Got it?
Ravi,
Yes.
uh, So we are entering this SAP Logon pad. This all details automatically. SAP MMC also background happening behind happening in a process.
MMC is the just console here. So
Okay.
without MMC also system will MMC is just it's our user interface to stopping the system, to starting the system, and also to know some details purpose we only. But actual work will be done by the application layer. Application level layer you cannot see anywhere. Application layer you cannot see anywhere. Only through SAP Logon pad. Only SAP Logon pad. So SAP Logon pad. So we can do that one. Only SAP Logon. Using the SAP Logon pad only, we can launch the SAP application server. Only application we can launch using the SAP Logon pad only. So which means whenever you click the SAP GUI screen, whenever you click it here, what will happen? Immediately dispatcher will assign to the available work process. So sometimes you may face whenever you click it, system will not open because of it will keep on loading or sometimes connection failure because dispatcher is down, work process are down. So it's not possible then. So that is the thing here.
Or process done means like we are using technical word server down like that. Huh?
Yes. Work process down. Server down means work process are down.
Okay.
Okay. So that is the work process, some internal mechanism, what will happen here. So apart from that, there is a